So again, any of you sitting there on your high horse and telling me how I should have done things or should have used things, etc., is kind of a moot point right now, right? Okay? The fact is, I was running the entire household. I've given you thousands of dollars worth of stuff, examples that had absolutely nothing to do with me or Omar, right? My mom and I were living organically, very, very expensive, with her knowledge and blessing, right? And the two major financial things that came from that money revolved around my mom loving me and loving Omar to death. I can account for every penny. I have every receipt. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, saying, well, you should have, what does it matter now? I often transferred funds between the 3 accounts. Okay? Not everybody, a lot of people are not good with money. I wasn't really paying attention, and I often transferred funds. My credit card was used to 3 accounts were the 2 joint accounts, and there was no credit card, debit card, anything attached to the joint account where my mom's checks went in, okay? My credit card was used to pay for all of her medication, all food and supplements, okay? For both of us. She was doing them too. What else? Her medications that I had to get at the pharmacy. All food and supplements. Also all clothes. Bought my mom a lot of kick-ass clothes, discounted from Macy's, helped her pick out really awesome things. Even bought her stuff that I thought she would like if I saw it, and I'd bring it home. Again, she had money. She's not like she's going on massive wild vacations. I was encouraging her to do that too. Why not? Why not spend some of your money while you still can, while you're still able to, you know? So all of that, everything was coming from my credit card, and funds were, so my bank account was all both dogs' dog food, all the stuff, remember all the organic food and supplements, vitamins for her, CoQ10, all that stuff for me, but it was all coming, all the VitaCost orders or any online orders. Or online, like when I got her sneakers, New Balance sneakers she wanted. But all of that was coming from my credit card. You know what I mean? So the funds were pooled, and joint accounts are equal in the eyes of the law. I didn't do anything extravagant. This money goes. But saying X, Y, and Z to me now is kind of a moot point. You know what I mean? And the checkbook that was attached to the smaller joint account, that was to pay the bills. So that was, I had everything set up online for electric and gas and Comcast. Phone was coming out, her phone was coming out of that. I had the prepaid phone that I just put on my credit card every month, but I got her eventually a prepaid phone, but before that, that was all coming out of that regular account. As well as her insurance and her, whatever it's called, thing that pays, so you have discounted medication, I don't know. Not the actual medication you buy at the pharmacy, but whatever it is that gets you some sort of, because my mom was on she winds up in so many mental hospitals, again, prior to when I was here too, not just when I was here. Unlike what my aunt tries to pretend to the contrary, or likes to pretend to the contrary. All that was coming out of the smaller bank account. And of course, the massive food bills or whatnot, again, eating organically. both of us. It's not like I was eating organically and my mom was eating nothing. You know what I mean? She wanted to eat organically. Just trying to keep her healthy. Trying to keep us both healthy. And despite obscene amounts of stress, I remained healthy. But I put my own mental and physical health on the back burner to the point where people were noticing and saying stuff to people in my life. Okay? Who also were in my mom's life. I knew my mom. So accusing me of not handling the funds properly is one thing, but calling me a criminal, no, I'm not buying that. I know a lot of people wouldn't be buying that either. Not under these unique circumstances. Because I was running the whole household. I was also making all my mom's appointments for her, making sure she kept them, etc. And in the end, because she was getting worse and whatnot, I was going to her appointments with her to protect her. Can you imagine if she had behaved the way she behaved when she went to get her new glasses? They would have called the cops. You get it? Okay? So you can say X, Y, and Z about me, but her sister was nowhere to be found, and I was doing the best I could. They would have called the cops most definitely if she barging into the office and demanding that they just give her glasses without an exam, and etc. I mean, I'm telling you, if she'd gone there alone, someone would have called the cops, 911, worried about her mental state. I can guarantee you. Especially if she got belligerent. I was protecting her when she was getting belligerent in public, having public outbursts or whatnot. But again, it bit me in the ass because there was numerous times I could have got her sectioned easily the way she was behaving, and I had witnesses, and I didn't. And then Auntie could turn around and act like she was perfectly well, Auntie for her own agenda. My sister doesn't stay well for more than 6 weeks at a time, referring just to this last time that was 6 weeks. She knows damn well her sister wasn't well from the moment her sister walked in the door. You know? That pisses me off to no end. Really. And both the checkbook and my credit card were used for Angel's vet bills and Omar's vet bills combined. You know, sometimes it was the checkbook, sometimes it was my credit card, depending if I had the money in my account or not. Again, it was all mixed together. That's why I said it wasn't a yours, mine thing. I was running the fucking entire household. Period. Anyway, that's something I haven't pointed out, but it's the truth. It's total truth. I often transferred funds between all 3 accounts. Including taking money from my account and putting it in the account that had the checkbook or whatnot, if bills were going to come in that way. You know, money was transferred constantly between the 3 accounts. And I don't know if it was prior to when Auntie turned over all that money. It was combination prior and after. My mom paid a total of thousands in vet bills for her dog. And she loved her dog to death. And no one had any right to try to force her to give up that dog. To treat her like she's a pauper. To treat her like she can't afford the vet bills to afford to have a dog. Okay? Oh, I thought of another thing. My mom used to hurt, my aunt used to hurt my mom and say, but Angel, way back before they got the wrongful death settlement, and my mom was totally poor, didn't have any money. You won't count the 401k simply because that's something that sits there and, you know, technically, although that ship has sailed, was always meant to, you don't touch it unless an emergency, and it was meant to eventually, as people talked about before, but then you never think about nursing homes and whatnot, it would go to me if my mom passed away. Okay. But anyway, just forget about the 401k. Back when my mom didn't have any money, she just had her paychecks, Social Security and pension. My aunt would cruelly say to her, and again, can I prove this? No. My mom told me, I know she's telling the truth, you don't have to believe me. Telling my mom, because she had gotten Angel, what does that tell you? But oh my gosh, I'd hate to be like that. My mom was so happy to have that dog as a companion. She had never had, she hadn't had dogs since, and she even told me this, because remember, when she was really sick, our beloved Pekingese, my mom was living with Auntie's alcoholic father in that place where I lived for a while, before I went with my own abusive father. Unexpectedly abusive, because he'd always treated me like a princess on, a little visits, but when I moved in with him and I was a fucked up, self-hating basket case with blame myself and I lost my mom and everything else, that was a different story. Anyway, I could get all choked up talking about this now, and it happened so many years ago. Mandy, and my mom brought it up and she remembered. And she knows, she's like, it wasn't her fault, it was her illness, but her neglect. I went to visit my mom when I was however old, I guess 16, 15, I don't know, there. Oh, God. Poor little Mandy, my beloved Pekingese, was fucking emaciated. Her fur was all stiff. She was still alive. The poor little girl was still alive. She was emaciated. And worms were crawling in and out of her body. But she wasn't, like, lethargic. She wasn't, like, sitting somewhere and dying. She was still, like, excited to see me or whatnot, and that was the result of my mom's illness and Grampy's fucking alcoholism, and they just let Mandy just die a slow death in front of them. How old was she at the time? Well, when I was 9, we got her, she was 4 years old when I was 9, so she was 11. Dog's little, a Pekingese, so they can live a long time, but no. I told you guys what it was like living with him and her there, and her being sick and him being a raging alcoholic, and it's all described in my essay, but I will never forget that. It was horrible. This was my beloved baby from when I was young, and they together, my mom's, the neglect, they'd allowed this dog to it was awful. I petted her and her fur was stiff. She was emaciated and worms were crawling in and out of her still living body. Okay? But anyway, my mom knows. She knows her illness, not her illness caused her beloved Mandy to die like that, die horribly like that. And so when she was telling me, she was so excited when she got Angel. She had never wanted any more pets, but someone had told her about Angel, and that poor Angel had whose owner had died on her, and Angel was there, I guess, for a couple of days in the bed with the dead owner, and they found her, and she needed a home, and someone my mom knew thought of whatever they thought my mom might want her. Okay? My mom loved that fucking dog. She got that dog when the dog was just 2 years old. Okay? And my mom would tell me how my aunt would say stuff to my mom like, you can't afford a dog, Samantha. sick. Sick. I tell the truth. Auntie tells lies and half-truths. Okay? My mom loved her fucking dog. She did not want to give the dog up, and nobody, since she was her own person, which I thought, foolish me, meant she could also do financial things for her beloved daughter if she wanted to. Nope, I'm taking financial advantage of her apparently. That's a new one. Still haven't told Joe that one. Anyway, she loved her dog, and she would have paid anything to save her dog, and it's none of Auntie's fucking business. But you know, at least Auntie couldn't any longer say stuff like, you can't afford it, you know what I mean? Once they got that, they split that hefty wrongful death settlement, right? But prior to that, told you, my aunt wouldn't let my mom get a crown. She said, you don't have the money to get a crown, Samantha, just get your tooth pulled. My mom didn't want to do that, so she was saving up pretty little, like trying to save $100 a month, so if a crown's $1,200 in a year, she'd be able to get it. And yeah, my aunt would say things to my mom like, you can't afford a dog. She didn't force her to give up the dog, but she was always rubbing, you know. My mom told me. Think my mom would make something like that up? No. No, she did not. Told you, she tells me everything. She used to tell me everything. Okay? I was in LA. I was going through my own, you know what I mean? But my mom would tell me everything. And yeah, I just remembered that one. Is that my mom was poor. But of course, that all revolved around my mom helping me out back then, and Auntie could always point that out to my mom too, and did, and to me. All the money that my mom, again, I already told you that story, I'm not going to repeat it. But that's an excuse for, you know, you're poor, Samantha, now, and then, you know, you gave your daughter all that money to help her, now you're poor, but she, I know. Like, Auntie doesn't like it. I see right through her. She can say X, Y, and Z about me, but she's hardly the wonderful, wonderful person she makes herself out to be. In any case, my mom told me that she loved Angel so much, and she had never wanted a pet, but she reminded me, she's like, you know, I feel so bad that I let Mandy die that way, and yeah, traumatized me. What else was new? It's horrible. Again, it's horrible because she was still alive and still exuberant. And meanwhile, I'm not an idiot. I'm not, you know, I'm a teenager, but I know that she's dying. They're not taking her to the vets. They're not taking care of her. Her fur was stiff, and this was the beautiful Pekingese that we had since, you know, her fur was stiff, and she was emaciated, her little body, and then when I saw a worm crawling in and out of her live body, I was disgusted, because she was still fucking alive, people. Again, I lived with him. I told you he had expressed desire to have sex with me when I wasn't there, and I was going to go visit my babies, and my aunt had to sit me down and say, you can't go visit your babies, Laura, would have shamed Mandy, and especially my puppy Trisket, because I'm like, why? And I'm 12. Do you know what incest is? Oh, God. My mom was locked up in a mental hospital at the time, mind you. And I'm sure I did know yeah, whatever. Well, your grandfather said this, and I can't have you go there. And then you guys know the rest. Next thing I know, my grandfather has punished everyone by getting rid of my dogs. And again, my mom wasn't going to be locked up in the mental hospital forever. But he kept Mandy. He got rid of Shane and Trisket, kept Mandy, and apparently was able to take care of her on his own. But later my mom was in there for 5 months. He took care of Mandy on his own. She didn't die, and she still lived all the way up until they were both neglecting her when I was a teenager. It was years later. You know what I mean? So I don't know that situation, but I do know he kept Mandy and got rid of Shane and Trisket. Probably as punishment. Because he had opened his big mouth, Laura, I'm going to be having sex with Laura this weekend, and I couldn't go, and then within, like that, I was told that he'd gotten rid of Shane and Trisket. And then I'm screaming bloody murder, and my aunt's like, it's just a dog, Laura. Yeah, to you, and your girls, who all have a absolutely perfect life compared to mine, and my mom's locked up in a mental hospital, and my grandfather got rid of my, particularly the puppy, Trisket. And why? He kept Mandy, though. And he obviously managed to take care of her, because, like I said, she didn't die till years later. That was a horrific way. That was neglect. She didn't need to die at age 11, and she'd never had major health problems. You understand? Just like Omer has it, and she was healthy, and she probably would have lived a lot longer, but my mom's illness and Grampy's raging alcoholism or whatnot, who knows what went on in that house when I was living with my father. You know what I mean? Who knows? Remember, they weren't blood. They weren't blood related. They weren't blood related, sorry, but they weren't. And my mom used to say that he used to, I'm not saying that he did or made passes at her or whatever, but he used to talk about stuff. Mom told me he used to talk about stuff like, I don't know, them getting married, or I don't know. I just know they weren't blood, so you can't say it would be, they weren't blood. It's not right, but they weren't blood related. Get it? I don't know. Anyway, that was something that I just thought of, back when my mom didn't have any money. But Auntie, of course, would always rub that in my mom's face, too, that she'd given, just like she would always accuse me, you took financial advantage of your mentally ill mom. She would say to my mom, now you're poor because you helped out your daughter. And later, my mom wrote in her journal, my family hates my daughter because I gave my daughter money. Think how that was making my mom feel. I see it. Anyone with half a brain can see right through all this bullshit. Like I said, say what you will about me. You have to look at the whole fucking picture in its entirety to really understand what's going on and what's been going on for fucking years, okay? And I understand that my aunt is my mom's guardian now, and guardians have complete power to decide with whom that protected person is allowed to associate. So I understand that I'm not allowed to I know it's bad enough I'm never going to hug my mom again, but to not even be allowed to know if she's okay. And plus, I have friends of hers concerned. The woman, she's known for years and years and years since she moved into this place, okay? Since my mom first moved in, they've been friends for years and years, long before the woman ever met me. And so the woman knows how much my mom used to, and they come to me, and the church friend too is obviously not as good of a friend, but still a concern, and they come to me, and it's like they're concerned for my mom, and I have to say to them, I have no idea what's going on with her, and I'm going to tell the fucking truth, but you know what I mean? It's not just me, people. My mom had this whole life prior to her sister becoming Lord and Master over her. Then people are concerned and worried and wondering what's happening with her. Understandably. Including our mutual friend who used to talk to my mom all the time in the mental hospitals. No, it's just fucked. It's fucked because